Today, we're breaking down the top 5 neighborhoods in the city of Irvine for families. I'm going to be actually driving around showing you what homes look like, what the streets look like. We're going to talk about school districts, and you're going to know everything you need to about choosing a neighborhood when it comes to Irvine. I'm Lance Rush Mills. I'm a local realtor here in Orange County. So number 5 on my list for neighborhoods in Irvine is El Camino Real. El Camino Real is a neighborhood located pretty central in the city of Irvine, California, right off the 5 freeway. In this neighborhood, it's pretty much residential. There's a healthy mix of homes and apartment buildings, as well as condos. So depending where you're at, what you're looking for you and your family, there's a lot of options available to you. There's several top-rated schools, including Deerfield Elementary, Green Tree Elementary School, Venando Middle School. Really a lot of great options available to you if you have kids in those age ranges. I've actually personally lived in El Camino Real as a neighborhood, rented a home there several years ago. It was a great neighborhood, tons of families around, felt very safe. The streets are actually designed very maze-like, which is good for if you have children and playing in the streets. There's not too much cross traffic through all the streets. So definitely safe in that facet. And there's a lot of green belts all throughout the neighborhood. So for me, it's going to be my top 5. Number 4 on my list today is the Great Park neighborhood in the city of Irvine. So the Great Park is a relatively newer neighborhood. There's actually tons of new construction options available all throughout the neighborhood. So if you are looking for new construction, it is a great place to start there because of the types of builds and styles. So what I will say about the Great Park is a lot of the homes there are actually really large square footage wise, except for you don't have the biggest lots. So a lot of them are very large homes, but they're vertical. So you've got, 4,000 square foot homes on a 5,000, 6,000 square foot lot. So once again, a lot of new construction, gorgeous homes, a lot of great builders out there like Shea, Lennar, really top in class builders. But for me, why it's number 4 is it's still developing, right? There's still a lot that needs to be added to the communities. It has a more desert look and feel to it, which you can kind of see in the videos as we're driving around here today, of the style of the homes, the landscaping. But the great thing about the Great Park area is you have the Great Park. So in the Great Park, I'll show a map here of kind of what the actual Great Park looks like, but there's tons of soccer fields, tons of amenities, tons of walking space for you, for your family. You can play games. Of course, you've got the hot air balloon there that you can go up and visit. It's really all around a great place to take your family for a time outdoors. The one thing to remember though when we are looking to buy homes throughout Orange County is tax rates. Since Great Park is a newer neighborhood, there's pretty high Melrose taxes in those areas. So for certain homes, you might be paying as high as 1.8%, maybe even a little bit more in property taxes. So definitely is a big consideration when you're choosing a home always, but especially in Irvine when looking at new builds. The Great Park, like most of Irvine, has excellent school options available. Not quite as many schools in this neighborhood as some of the other neighborhoods we're going to be going over today, but of course still excellent options available to you of top ranked schools. Number 3 on my list is actually the community of Northwood. So Northwood was constructed in the mid 1970s, is one of the few communities that was actually not constructed by Irvine Company. So you can actually find a few spots there that aren't centrally controlled by HOAs. As you can see from some of the photos and videos here, Northwood definitely has a lot more green feel to it, from trees, from the way the streets are designed, than the Great Park, which most of the communities in Irvine do have that feel, where you've got a lot of trees in the streets. It really feels like you're in a community the way they're designed, the way the streets are designed and laid out. So it does rank a little bit higher for me personally, being in Northwood over Great Park, just because of the feel and the atmosphere. And once again, if you take a look at North Park, top rated schools throughout, really any of these communities, it's hard to really break down the schools because they are they are also top rated. So you're really not going to have a problem for your kids sending them to public or private options here in the city of Irvine. Coming in number 2 is the neighborhood of Woodbury. So Woodbury is actually, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful communities in central Irvine. As you can see coming through, you've got the big arches, you've got the gates, you have all the trees and landscaping all around the central block there that is Woodbury. So I think the design is very well done. All the homes, are very matching, have a very great aesthetic there. In terms of schools, once again, you've got the top-rated schools, top-rated safety as you're seeing throughout Irvine. You've got parks, you've got the HOA that's in great shape and condition there, so a lot of amenities that are available to you, as well as shopping around the area there. So, once again, most of these communities have great shopping and amenities all designed within the communities, so you don't really have to worry about going far to a grocery store, going far to find some food. All of these communities are going to have that right around you, so you never need to worry. Coming in first place for the top neighborhoods for families in Irvine is Woodbridge. Woodbridge is an absolutely beautiful and well-designed community that if you've been to Irvine, this is kind of the iconic Irvine community that most people probably think about. In the Woodbridge neighborhood, there are 2 artificial lakes that are constructed around the entire development area. So you have 5 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, as well as Woodbridge High School, all within this neighborhood. So once again, as you can see, the schools are top rated across the board there, so nothing to be worried about. Really what separates this community apart from the rest is, I think, just the design. There's streets called Yale Loop that go all around the neighborhood, which take you in a big circle, so you can really easily access all the different homes and get across the 2 different lakes there. So the homes and neighborhoods are designed for most of the streets don't have through access, so it's a perfect community, to have children, to have families in, where you're not worrying about cars coming rushing by there. Once again, there's a lot of parks, there's a lot of green belts, you're really close to different entertainment and food options across the board. So I think because of you being centrally located in Irvine when you're in Woodbridge, it's another great reason to consider as an option for your family. You're going to be really close to entertainment, you're going to be close to Irvine Spectrum, you're right off the 405 freeway as well, so you can travel around very easily as needed. There are a few other communities that I didn't put on today's list purely because today's was top 5 for families, so I also did factor in affordability. So these 5 communities are all relatively affordable for most families coming to Irvine and considering options. The 3 other communities that didn't quite make it on the list purely because of cost are Orchard Hills, Turtle Rock, and Shady Canyon. All 3 of those communities, still fantastic communities. Some of the nicer communities that you can find in Irvine, especially Shady Canyon. But realistically, they're not as family oriented and designed as some of these other communities, which have the elementary, middle school, and high schools located right in the communities. Once again, any of these neighborhoods are gonna have good options to be raising your children. But I would say that if you really want to have that sense of community, to have those HOA amenities, if you want to be near all the action in terms of freeways, you really want to stay in these top 5 communities that I've recommended here today. Once again, most of the neighborhoods in Irvine are fantastic communities. So I don't want you to think just because that community isn't on the top 5, that's not a great neighborhood. It's just for me personally, after working in the area, of driving through and living through several of these communities, I found that these are the top 5 neighborhoods for families, just based on location, based on the schools, based on safety, and really sense of community, which I think is the most important thing, when you're raising children here in Orange County and in Irvine in particular. You really want to have that sense of safety, of those neighborhoods where your children can play outside, can be on the streets, where you don't have to worry about them from a safety perspective, as well as from a plane in the street traffic perspective, right? A lot of these neighborhoods are designed for slow traffic, are designed for you be able to enjoy your time outdoors. And of course, all of them have an abundance of parks. So really, for these factors, they really rank on the top 5 neighborhoods here in Irvine. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the breakdown of the top 5 neighborhoods for families here in Irvine. Let me know if you have any specific questions. Feel free to send me a text message. Happy to kind of walk you through some of the nuance of each of those neighborhoods and help you find the neighborhood that's right for you and for your family. As always, make sure to like and subscribe to this video. And until then, see you next time.